I don't exactly know how I want to start this video, so why don't we just get started, get down to what I want to say, because to be perfectly honest, I don't want to take up too much of your guys' time as I am already, so let's just get into it. What I'm really here for today is to give you all an update on what's going on with the channel, just a year in review basically of what happened last year and hopes for what to achieve and what to do this year, while also providing some explanation for what's going on behind the scenes, stuff that is both good and also not so good. Let's get started. So, to start off with the good, as you all know, or it might be obvious based on the kind of content that I create, but I want to work in the entertainment industry as a 3D character animator. And I mean, it's obvious from what I've put out. I've got a bunch of animations that show my skills as an animator and a storyteller to an extent, and just as a creative person in general, as an artist. But finding a job in the industry is no small task. And for anybody else out there that's been trying to get into the industry, especially lately, I don't know if you guys are aware of what's going on right now with all the layoffs that are happening in both the game industry and just the entertainment industry as a whole when it comes to animation. But it's honestly pretty daunting and also very scary at the same time, especially when you take into account that AI is also in the mix with everything. It's not a pretty picture, but at the same time, I still want to try to make it in there some way, somehow. Thankfully, though, things seem to be going in the right direction for me, because last year I was able to land an internship where I've been honing my skills as an animator. I've been working with a team of like-minded creative people, nicest bunch of people that I've had the pleasure of working with. Everyone's just been so supportive, so kind, so helpful. It's honestly been a very, very worthwhile experience. And again, I feel like my skills as an animator have been improving thanks to this. It's been very good practice, and I can't really talk about what it is that I have been doing, and I also can't show what it is that I've been doing, because by technicality I'm under a non-disclosure agreement, or NDA. Basically, this means that I can't talk about in extensive detail about what it is that I'm currently working on. It basically is a thing that prohibits me, or really anybody else on the team, from talking about whatever it is that we're working on, because we're supposed to keep it secret. Just know that this has been a very good experience for me, and know that from this experience, future projects that I work on, whether it be something actually in the professional industry or, personal projects over here on YouTube, know that it's possible that there will be a quality increase in some way. But overall, again, it has been a very worthwhile experience, and I am thankful for the opportunity. But as I've stated, trying to find a job, like literally any position in the industry as a whole, has been the most daunting task that I never would have imagined, at all. Which sort of leads me into the next topic that I want to discuss, which is my overall work status. So yes, I've got the really awesome internship that I'm working. It really has been the greatest thing. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, there's also a job environment that I am not having the greatest time with. I may have mentioned it on past streams, but currently I'm working at a grocery store. And if any of you have worked in the retail environment at all, you'll know that it's a gamble whether or not it's going to be a good day or not, especially depending on what department you're working in. And since the job that I was working in previously was more geared towards the front end, it really wasn't the greatest for me mentally. There were too many times, both last year and the year beforehand, where I would just be miserable. And I know that may sound a little melodramatic, and I try to not be like that on this channel at all if I can help it, because I just don't want the image of the channel to be reflective of that kind of behavior, because I want the channel to be more of a positive sort of thing that you can come to, something that is welcoming, something that's like not necessarily devoid of all this negative stuff, but as a more peaceful place where you can just enjoy either silly animations or whatever else it is that I plan on doing here. And it's because of this current working environment that, again, mentally, it has not been the greatest for me. So much so that on certain days, I would just come home from work, and especially when the internship started up, all that would happen is I would come home from work, I would put in the time for the internship, and then I would relax the rest of the night with a game or whatever else that I wanted to use to take my mind off of this, because it was just that bad. And again, I know I'm probably sounding melodramatic, but this kind of stuff was very demotivating. It's difficult to work all day long in that kind of environment, to then come home and do some extra work, and then not be motivated to do literally anything else other than just turn your brain off, and then eventually repeat the cycle the very next day. And it's because of all of this that I think I felt burnt out. And for anybody creative, that is the worst possible thing that, or at least one of the worst possible things that can happen to you. Because your motivation's shot, you don't feel like doing anything, and especially when you're in my position, where you have an audience of people that show up for your stuff, enjoy your work, whether it be the more serious animations like The Life of an Inkling, or just the more silly animations that I put out, or whatever it else is that I create, like the mashups or the streams that I do. By the time that I get home, I'm just drained and I don't want to do any of that stuff. And to put it simply, it sucks. It really does suck. Thankfully though, things seem to be looking up. Along with the internship that I'm working, I managed to also get promoted in a sense at the store that I'm currently working at. I managed to get a new position that is way less mentally draining, way less mentally intensive, taxing, however you want to put it. And it has honestly been the most freeing thing ever, because the position that I was working in before was, as I said, in the front end, which specifically as a courtesy clerk. It's a rather crude way of putting it, but they're basically the grunt workers at a store. They're doing all like the menial tasks like sweeping the floors, bagging the groceries for the customer, bringing the carts in, cleaning the bathrooms if need so. All of these, all these small tasks that you have to do around the store to make sure that everything is operational. And while yes, you could say that, oh, well, it's a good first job, it's a good first starting position, and it's like, yes, you're right, but at the same time, it is not worth it at all for the mentally draining experience at all. If you were to ask me, it is not worth your mental health at all. It just isn't. Back to the new position that I have though, I'm now working in what's known as our Drive Up and Go department, our DUG department. Basically now I'm working as a online shopper for customers. So people will place in their orders. I go around the store, pick up the stuff that they want, maybe substitute it if the product that they're specifically looking for is not on the shelf. And they show up, I bring it out to them, lather, rinse, repeat. Yeah, things are starting to be better. And they weren't really that good for a long while, if I'm going to be totally transparent and honest with you all. Things have been unquestionably rough behind the scenes, not just because of my current working status, but also because of just not being able to get a job in the thing that I went to college for. It's the most mentally exhausting thing, and also the most demoralizing thing, because I know for a fact that I don't want to be working at a grocery store the rest of my life. I have all these big aspirations, these big dreams that I want to fulfill. And while I can sort of fulfill those dreams by making content for you guys on here, as well as for myself, I feel like I could be providing my insight in something much bigger. So yeah, everything has just been, to put it lightly, it's been very mixed. Again, as I said at the beginning, both good and both not good, but the stuff that has been very good, like the internship and getting this new job position, have just been small stepping stones to sort of help me along the way to make things better. And I can only hope that things will go up from here. So again, internship has been good. New position has been good. Let's disregard all the bad stuff that's happened and just let's just keep going, because it's the only thing that any of us can do, whether if you're a creative person or not. You just have to keep going. You have to have the perseverance and the fortitude to keep going, despite how rough things can be. So, where does that leave us now, you're probably wondering? What does that mean for this year? If I'm going to be honest, not so much is going to change in regards to what I'll be posting. You can expect like more mashups. There's definitely a fair amount of them that I have yet to post. And I'm still getting a bunch of ideas in regards to that form of content, because while it may not show, I've actually been making mashups ever since middle school. And they're just not on here anymore because dumb me decided to delete them from the channel at one point. I don't know why that happened, but I guess I wanted to stick to the, I'm an animator sort of image, I just wanted to stick to one thing. But no, as a creative person, and this kind of goes for like what I want to do for the channel just as a whole this year and even beyond this year, I just want to post and make the things that I like making, that I find enjoyment in making. And hopefully that rings true for you guys. I hope you've been enjoying what I've been putting out, whether it's the animations or the mashups or the streams, if you tune into those too. I hope you guys have been enjoying that stuff, because I do like making all the stuff and doing all the things that I enjoy doing, because it allows me to express myself as an artist, as a creative. I know it sounds like I'm kind of going in circles here, but in case it wasn't obvious by this point, this video is not scripted. I just have a list of notes. That's all I've got. To steer this back to the content and what I want to make for this channel. As I said, you can still expect the mashups to come out, both old ideas that I had in the past and new ideas that I'm getting now, but you can also expect the animations to make a return. Now, whether this means that Life of an Inkling will return this year in some way, shape, or form, I honestly cannot give you a definite answer on that. I know that you guys really enjoy that, and I may have mentioned this in a previous update, but after I had finished Chapter 2, I felt a little burnt out. And don't misunderstand, I want to return to the Life of an Inkling at some point. Will it be this year? Will it be next year? It's kind of hard to say. But just know that even if you're not hearing about it, even if you're not seeing anything in regards to it, I am still thinking about it. There are like so many things in regards to this little mini series that I'm working on that I just cannot wait to share with you guys, like both in terms of story, characters, or whatever else ideas that I have related to it. I just think right now I still need a little bit more time, but the motivation to work on it is slowly starting to build back up. So will you get something in regards to it this year? All I can ask is for you all to still remain patient in regards to that. But even if there isn't going to be anything Life of an Inkling for a while, there are still some smaller, shorter animations that I would like to make that I have ideas for, and some of them are even started in some way. I just haven't gotten back to working on them because I've just been so busy with everything else, or just, again, mentally drained from work. But again, thanks to this new job position and this positive experience with the internship, my motivation to work on my own stuff is slowly starting to come back. So time will tell when you will see anything new in terms of animation on this channel. However, and I believe I've alluded to this before, but there is another style of content that I would like to try. And I don't know exactly what I want to call this yet. I've tossed between calling it like video essays, or if anybody's familiar with this type of content, storytime animation. Maybe it's like a hybrid between the two. I honestly don't know what to call it, but basically videos that allow me to talk about the things that I enjoy. And I currently have some things done in regards to this first type of video that I want to try out. I have a thumbnail that's made. I have some drawings made in regards to it. I have a script that's been fully recorded since May of last year, if you can believe it. And I just haven't gotten around to editing the video together or anything else because I vastly underestimated how much time and effort was going to be needed to put into this sort of thing. But I am still looking forward to what the end result is going to be. So whenever that video comes out, I hope you guys look forward to it and enjoy it, because I've been racking my brain on what else it is that I can make in between the animations, more specifically The Life of an Inkling. But I also just want to simply try out new things. I want to try out making or working on other creative projects that aren't animation related, because it allows me to try out new things and evolve as not just an artist, but as a person. It allows me to build my skill set, and I'm more well-rounded as a creative or just an individual as a whole. And you can also expect maybe some videos about the Sonic Mania mod that I'm working on. I know I did like a little teaser of that last year unintentionally for April Fools. And side note, I kind of thought of that idea just the day of, because originally I wasn't going to do anything for April Fools, but I realized that I had enough footage to make it work. So the fact that you guys kind of seem to enjoy that makes me kind of want to just share update progresses on this mod as more work keeps being done on it. As of right now, though, it's still sort of in its beta stages, but I have a bunch of ideas in regards to that I want to do. Yet again, another project that you'll see more of later. Just know that it's being worked on. I hope you guys look forward to it whenever I have more concrete stuff to show. And as far as streams are concerned, I'm still sort of working out the kinks in regards to that, but I honestly would like to try to get back on a either weekly or bi-weekly schedule. I'm honestly feeling like trying to do more than just playing games and animation. I wanted to try to do this last year, but that obviously didn't pan out. But on top of doing some gaming stuff and animation things, I was also thinking about doing some drawing streams and maybe trying to rework the animation streams a bit, because the format that I was doing before wasn't necessarily bad. I kind of liked it, but I feel like to really get the sense of like the workflow or how I do things, maybe for those streams, like the first half could just be like me just in my element, doing my thing with some background music that's going on. And then for like maybe a second half, I can be on mic and be like, hey guys, this is what I'm doing. I'm just spitballing ideas right now, but this is the kind of stuff that's constantly swirling through my mind, that it's like I've got all these ideas. It's just I need to figure out how to best execute them and everything. So if you're at all interested in tuning into the streams, I hope to see you all in the next one whenever I decide to do that. Maybe next month, we shall see. Just make sure to keep an eye out in the YouTube community tab. You can follow me on Blue Sky or Instagram, and I'll be sure to post an update in regards to the next streams and everything on there. Will I be using Twitter ever again? No. Anyway, and I think that's everything I wanted to say. So to recap, a lot of stuff's been happening. That's probably like the most that's probably the most straightforward and easiest way to put things, just a lot's been happening. Most of it has been good. Some of it not so good, as I said at the beginning. But things are starting to get better, and I couldn't be more thankful for that. So hopefully it's all upwards from here, and I hope you all look forward to whatever it is that I decide to post. Because, to be perfectly honest, I'm just sick of the YouTube technical mumbo jumbo where it's like, oh, you gotta do it for the views, and you gotta do this, you gotta do that in order to viewer retention, and whatever else it is with the SOQ score or whatever it's called with tags and everything. It's like, I'm just so done with it. I just want to create and post whatever it is that I feel, because in a way that stuff is a representation of me. It's a representation of what I enjoy, what I like to make, and what I aspire to be as a creative. But simply put, I just want to make stuff. I just want to make stuff that I personally love to make. And to be perfectly honest, if I enjoy making that stuff and someone out there enjoys it too, that's all I really need. So I want to thank you all so much for still continuing to support me, however you decide to support me. Thank you to those that have watched the video in its entirety. It's possible that this could have gone on longer than I intended, so I apologize for that, but maybe there was more things that I wanted to say in regards to the notes that I took. But once again, I want to thank you all for listening to me ramble on for however long this video's gone on. I honestly don't even know at this point. And I also want to apologize again for the slow turnout of content, but I'm hoping that with this year, that's going to change, among a couple of other things. What exactly do I mean by that? Well, you'll see. You'll see when it happens. So with all that said, thank you all so much for watching the video. If you want to support me, I do have a Patreon and a Ko-Fi that you can go support. You can also follow me on Blue Sky, Instagram, or if you just simply want to share the video around, spread the word, that also helps out too. Just watching the video is enough too. So again, thank you all so much for your support, and until next time, remember to take it easy, everybody. All right, let's get to work.